President Biden is wasting no time getting to work, announcing new efforts to fight the pandemic on his first full day in office. Biden was sworn in as the country's 46th president on the steps of our nation's Capitol yesterday, 2 weeks to the day after an angry mob attacked it. And Vice President Kamala Harris took her own historic oath, becoming the highest-ranking woman in our nation's 244-year existence and the first Black American and Asian American to serve as vice president. And this moment was captured right before she was sworn in, Harris getting a fist bump from former President Obama, America's first Black president.
And here's a look at some of today's front pages. The word unity is splashed across many of them, and that was the resounding theme of Biden's inaugural address, vowing to, quote, put his whole soul into uniting our country, urging empathy and promising action.
And President Biden's hitting the ground running, signing an additional flurry of executive orders just moments ago, as you might have seen. ABC News political director Rick Klein is going to join us now to suss this out. Rick, yeah, it's become now a tradition, partly because the Congress is broken. President's governed by executive orders, and when the next guy comes in, he revokes them all and signs new ones. So what is Joe Biden doing, as we saw moments ago and yesterday as well, with these executive orders?
Yeah, Terry, this covers a wide swath of American governance, starting with COVID-19, this 100-day nationwide mask mandate on federal property, and also interstate commerce like trains and buses and airplanes. In addition to that, invoking the Defense Production Act on COVID vaccine production, and big orders on immigration, protections for so-called DACA recipients, the Dreamers, halting of the president's border wall, rejoining the Paris Climate Accords, rejoining the World Health Organization. Really, it runs the gamut of things that people have urged President Biden to do when he's in office. All of them are something that were echoed at some point in campaign promises, so not a lot of surprises, but it's still rather startling when you realize how much influence a change in administration is on policy, even without a single lifting of a pen from Congress.
And Rick, one of the things he brought up was masks, which we've heard him talk about before. He issued his 100-day challenge for everybody to wear a mask, but he also addressed schools, saying that he wants the Department of Education to give both clear direction and resources so that all schools and child care centers can open in this country. I found that interesting because you talked about how politicized masks have become, but school openings have become another hot-button political issue. And I wonder if approaching both of these topics at the same time might help him achieve that unity that he's after.
I think, Diane, you're onto something, particularly with regards to schools. There's an aspect of schooling that's just critical child care and critical learning for particularly lower income individuals, people that don't have a lot of options. It's something that has hit portions of this country in more major ways than others. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And the idea that the federal government would have consistency in what it's saying about schools and around masks, I think that's something that a lot of Americans of either party would probably welcome.
Rick, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is expected to send the article of impeachment against ex-President Trump to the Senate, up to the Senate any day now. Look, there's so many questions around the impeachment of now private citizen Donald John Trump Jr. How is this going to play out, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest question is going to be what kind of defense Donald Trump wants to put on, because if he decides to basically put on no defense, this can happen pretty quickly, maybe just a couple of days of a trial. Keep in mind, as we've talked about, Terry, members of Congress themselves are witnesses. They don't really need that much evidence. It's the president's words, the president's tweets, the video of the rally, and then all of the striking images and the striking information about what happened at the attack itself. Now, if the president wants to put on a more fully formed defense, then we're talking about something that's going to take more like weeks instead of days. But the key thing here is Democrats control the clock. They control when it gets sent to the Senate, and because the Senate now has 50 Democrats, with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker, they control the rules of the road with regard to this impeachment trial. So they get to control it a bit, but there's no doubt that it's going to take away from the focus on the Biden agenda, which for this moment at least is in a bit of a sweet spot. That ends as soon as those impeachment articles are transmitted and as soon as that Senate trial begins.
Ready with executive orders, but ultimately, if he wants that COVID-19 relief bill passed and he wants his immigration plan passed, he's going to need Congress on board. How does he go about getting bipartisan buy-in on that?
Yeah, I think the key people to look at here are not the Republican leaders like Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell. It's the middle. Look at more moderate senators. Look at, frankly, even some conservative senators like Mitt Romney, who have gone off from the Republican Party line at times. There are individual pieces of all of these packages, like protection for the Dreamers. Easy to see how you'd get the overwhelming majority of Republicans to sign off on that. We know that President Trump is the person that was the champion of those $2,000 direct payment checks. Joe Biden would like those to go out the door rather immediately. So it's possible to find some bipartisan compromise. I just don't think you're going to find it starting with leadership. And I think it's always interesting to know what the leaders are going to do. But when you look at what Biden is coming into, it is potentially a moment for moderates. You could see the middle not just holding, but beginning to shape some direction if Joe Biden is able to get just the slightest bit of buy-in from Republicans.
Think of that. Revenge of the moderates there. Rick Klein, thanks very much for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.